Okay. All right. So dispose of the body. How? I'm not quite sure. I'm probably thinking we should just toss it down a well. Do we have a well nearby? Sorry, no. That would be
Oh,
disgusting.
well. And
At this
poison your
point, I'm
drinking water.
carrying the sack over to the balcony. I toss it out. Acid splash on it. Several times.
Sure. Okay.
I will say using enough cantrip to be able to like dissolve a body.
I don't need to
Would
dissolve it. I just need to make a completely unrecognizable lump of just
Okay.
goo.
My viewers are telling me
So-
for us to just eat it.
The
Was
desiccated.
tempted.
At
was
this point.
tempted.
Well, let me just whisper then.
Might I suggest adding the armor to your little spectacle? With the patch, the recognizable patch.
Hmm.
Just a thought.
Okay. So
I-
the dislocated body.
Is everyone else just chatting amongst themselves while I'm just throwing this out the window?
Well, no, I was just talking to you.
You were just talking to
but
me. That's
you
fine.
were whispering with E, so.
No, that's what I was checking because I was looking at that, so I was just double checking whether it was directed at me. Sorry, hard to focus on two things at once sometimes.
Yes, I was saying that you should add the armor with the patch to your little acid party.
Hmm.
Sure. So you're watching me right now, are you?
Is this a lot of fun?
Hard to look away.
It's hard to
Back
look
in
away.
my day, we used to just stab them and leave them.
That's fine.
All right. I got a little creepy, crawly feeling all of a sudden from Bree. Like, oh my god.
Oh no, she's pretty obviously disgusted by the brutal mangling of the corpse, and now probably the smell coming out of the alleyway.
So you can't look away.
So
Like you can't look away
he-
from a train wreck. That sort of thing.
So the arms and legs of this guy have been dislocated and in a couple of places broken just to be able to fit and tie it together. And then Malthus goes along and starts splashing acid over his face and jaw to try and make him unrecognizable. At which point, sort of the front of his skull begins to melt away down to the bone, flesh sort of burning
No,
off.
I'm not watching this.
Is anyone
Yeah,
else
Lana
watching at
turns
this
away.
point?
I won't be watching. No.
No.
Okay, fantastic. I noticed some little bits that have fallen out from amongst the sheets, and I just pick them up and just generally tidy up the gore and throw it onto the pile.
Okay.
Right.
And
So
you're seeing,
I
like,
will
singing in
follow
the
that
rain,
up with
Infernal.
my back to the window, and perhaps a nice kerchief around my mouth to cover the horrid smell.
There's a
And
sort
I'll
of
use
random crunch slap.
prestidigitation and mending to fix the bed.
Hmm.
Okay, that is fixed.
Not so much.
No. There's a splat crunch as the body hits the ground outside.
Sorry. I couldn't stave that one. Images. All right. Right. So we have to.
So
accept
now
the
it's
contract,
nighttime
right?
and we have nowhere
Let's
to
get on with that.
stay. Now it's nighttime and we have nowhere to stay. Certainly can't stay here now.
Can we stay
Well,
in the?
you can.
Let's try to get back into the inner city.
yes,
There's
I
a
can.
nice place there where I can perform and make a lot of money.
You
How about we have this conversation not in the room where I just cut someone up, and at that point I just jump out the window.
Wait, that's a 20-foot fall. Sure, I'll jump out.
Was it a
with you.
20-foot climb? Because I was like, we managed to acrobatic. Oh wow, you managed to throw me into the window. And as much as
About
I'm
10 foot,
sure
less
you're a
than that,
very
maybe.
strong man, I don't think you're that strong.
Right, well, I'll
about
meet you down
maybe
there
9
and I'll
foot.
walk down the
You're
square.
fine.
I'll
Yeah.
leave you through the door as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Malthus jumps down, lands on a bit of body.
Hood up,
Yeah.
leave through the door.
And you all congregate back in the alleyway.
Okay.
No, I'm waiting at the end
How-
of the alley. That
how
thing
do-
smells.
How How do you whisper in Roll20?
/W space and then the name. It'll come up pretty easily. Like if you just type in like E will come up and you'll just be like enter and then it'll autofill.
But yeah, moving on towards the alley once I land.
Yeah, I'm out in the street by now for sure.
Did his whole endeavor take long enough for me to have finished my prestidigitations and have a short rest?
That was a very amusing title. I'm just going to say
not
that
really.
because I couldn't hide the laugh. I had this
Cleaning the stupid
horrible
bed.
idea for a moment.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you haven't had time to have a dedicated 1 hour break since you all just kind of were like talking and then just immediately left. Hey, you. So you meet at the end of the alleyway.
Okay.
So,
I pulled my cloak up that I'm not wearing at the moment.
Is there any guards about?
Make a perception test.
Car. Perception, which is
Wisdom.
we can either go and investigate
20.
tonight or wait until morning and risk this person being missed.
I don't need to rest. I'm ready to move. I don't like sleeping in inns anyway.
I have a 20 on my perception.
Okay, you spot back up the road towards the plaza and the gate to the inner city. The gate is up. There is a gap in the gate, well, basically like a little talkie hole, so that people can talk and be let in still, if need be. And you notice that on top of the walls next to it, there are 2 guards sitting there, kind of on watch. No one actually in the street, though.
Seeing tulips looking around, I asked, do you see any up on the ramparts of the inner wall? Is there any movement up there?
Yeah, there's a little bit. 2 that I spot.
I mean, there's more ways into a city than through the front gate, but
What do you have in mind?
go over the wall, go through the wall. There's bound to be other ways, but I suspect the old quarter isn't in the middle of the city, one way or the other, and I'm ready to be on the move.
I've been here for a while. Do I know where this place is? Like, at the very least, where the old quarter is?
Yeah, it's
Is it-
a couple of streets over and extends for a good quarter of the city outside the main wall.
Outside the wall.
Yeah. Inside the main wall is all pretty nice. The old city is the first expansion outside of that wall of the general sort of village area, and which has grown. That area, of course, being the oldest area, is pretty downtrodden and is thus one of the poorest areas of the city.
This is a bit of a meta question. It's just a quick one.
Sure.
Because realistically, in oldie worldy, sewers weren't really a thing. But in most fantasy things, they seem to have vast sewers that people can walk in. Is this the kind of world that has that kind of sewage system? Because Belfast is used to cities.
Depends on the city. Riverton, not from what you can tell.
Okay. That was just a meta question, just so that I know whether Belfast would
I understand
suggest it.
it's varied in this world. Riverton, no.
Okay.
That'd be, overhanging.
Bucket of slop out the window sort of thing, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Plumbing is rare, is very good dwarves or some gnomes do it, and is hard to do on an entire township scale.
Right, so why, beyond making money from performing, when we have a higher paying job, in theory, do we care about getting inside the walls?
A place to stay.
There are
Mingling.
places to stay out here.
What other places are there? I'm
It's
asking
not
you.
the only inn.
Because you've been here for a while. Where would you
There are
suggest?
quite a few
Right?
inns.
There are... Where? There are what?
There are quite a few inns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that the brown trout and I forget what the other one was, I'm afraid, but they were basically the best ones that the book told us about. But it also said that it listed loads.
Plenty of other
So,
inns
you know, we
in
would have
town
actually seen a long list of
outside
names.
of the wall.
Yeah.
And our destination is outside of the wall, so I'm.
And
not
besides,
completely
if we go
sure,
into the
but-
old
and
quarter-
perhaps I'm missing something.
If we go into the
I
old
am
quarter,
here.
I'm fairly certain we'll be able to find a place to lay our heads down, whether we have to pay for it or not. In fact, in the old quarter, there's probably easier to find places that aren't going to ask questions when 2 tieflings, an elf, and a gnome walk up with a giant badger.
I will levy because
I love that with the giant badger.
At this particular point, but I will levy with Bree the fact that going inside, there's more money on the inside of the city. And I am a traveling entertainer. This is how I make my living. Outside of adventuring, which is kind of a nice little thing, I make my living off of telling stories, off of singing songs. And where do those stories and songs come from is basically from the adventures that I have. But I have to go where the money is to get the...
Tulips, once we've got what we need, I'm sure we can find our way into the city. We can stay a few days if you want, and you can make a lot of money then. But I would rather get this resolved now, because there are guards dying. That means they're active. And between you and me, and then I switch to Infernal, I just want to kill people.
Come on, Tulips. It'll be like the old days.
Okay. Yep. With that bit of dialogue, sure. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you head towards the old quarter of the city.
How far away was it?
It starts a couple of streets over and extends for a good quarter of the outside of the city.
Okay, so like in terms of time, because the city is generally fairly big. Because I've got city secrets, so I'm just saying we can.
So it'll take you about 10 minutes.
Okay,
less
that's
than
fine.
that,
It's
maybe
not even that. Okay.
8 minutes to get to the old quarter. It will take you a while to get around the old quarter because what are you looking for?
We're looking for a ruined temple, are we not? And I wanted to use my city secrets to be able to move us there at double speed.
Okay. Everybody make investigation rolls. Malthus, because you have city secrets as well, you can have advantage. Briolana, because you've been here a while, you can also have advantage.
What are investigation?
Yeah.
I get 8.
Scarlet got an 8.
I got 14.
14, 10,
Ooh, very nice. Very nice indeed.
24. Okay,
That's
so
good.
Scarlet,
Welcome to the party.
bit out of her water here, not being a particular urban traveller. Tulips being a bit sullen about not getting into the inner walls.
He's basically
not
sulking.
Really, yeah, basically sulking, not really paying attention to the
fantastic.
forequarter of the city, because it's like, well, it's the forequarter. They have no money here. However, between Malthus sort of devising the quickest and best routes and knowing, not to go through certain alleyways, which alleyways will probably lead onto other streets, can speed you up massively. And Briolana having recognized vaguely that she has seen a temple and heard, people talking about a temple that was disused or whatever. You made your way quite quickly into the center of the old quarter, taking no longer than about half an hour.
By the way, I just want to share this. Zunreal in my chat just said, sorry, not Zunreal. Sam is not real. Said, Tiefling bards sing death metal. I like that. I like
Could
that.
be good.
In
Could be
Infernal
a
as
thing.
well.
In Infernal, that would definitely
That would be serious death metal.
sound
there.
exactly the same.
Sound exactly the same as regular death metal.
Yep. Briolana, what you know about this temple is the temple was originally a temple of death, which is not as crazy evil as it sounds. Death in this pantheon is just a lawful neutral character. It's just a force of nature to most people, which just got run down and didn't get many followers, and a fair while ago, a few decades, maybe a little bit less, became a brewery temporarily, since high voltage ceilings are excellent for storing giant vats in. And then just the general decline of the quarter just led to it becoming abandoned.
Oh, I know. Let's just offend the god of death by turning his temple into a brewery. That's bound to not have terrible consequences for everyone involved.
Maybe the god of death loves beer.
I'm sorry, didn't you say you wanted to kill a whole lot of people? What better place?
Okay, Bree.
Interesting.
Bree is conniving. I like it. Okay.
She can also speak Infernal, which is interesting.
And if you like, I can say that in Infernal too.
Do it. Go ahead.
No.
Listening.
I can't actually. I haven't gotten my new mixer yet. Sorry. Really, really want that new mixer. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Melfast does cock a brow at that and then just kind of grins.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Scarlet,
you
you're
get
a
to
good
a main road. You're about 40 meters down the road on the other side from a temple, which is a bit downtrodden, disused. There's a couple of large steel vats outside that have been half taken apart.
Okay. Are there
Perception
lights in the
check.
street, by the way? Like lamps?
Everybody make a perception. check?
Some, nothing in the street directly because the people who would normally light streetways don't come down here. It's too downtrodden.
Never mind. I don't have to roll. I'm done.
I like my new character.
Wow.
That
Anna,
natural
have you just
20.
created the opposite of Melthas?
Well, I got a 19, to be fair.
What?
We all just did amazingly well.
That's a natural 20 for a total of 22, if you please.
Okay. He said that everybody did exceptionally well. I'm gonna roll my perception. I'm gonna see what happens.
You can do it. You can
Scarlet
do
got
it.
15, Melthas got 19.
I saw the one was so close. It was like
It was,
the one,
it was,
one,
I thought
one.
too.
No, 15. No, that was good.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That was a really good roll. That was probably the
okay,
best
so-
group roll we've ever rolled, actually.
I know.
Even though it wasn't a group, or was it a group test? Or either way, it was the best roll that we, as everyone having to roll for something, have ever done.
As
That
a
was awesome.
collective.
Yeah, that was just glorious.
So you... Yeah, that was kind of crazy high. You look around. You manage to spot on the doorway are two guys up on the sort of the effectively it's like a balcony, but it's not really meant to be a balcony. It's just a large flat area, and a cart goes by. Above that doorway,
Yeah.
and the sort of the very low pitched roof around, you can see another two guys somewhere up there keeping watch, trying to stay hidden. However, Malthus and Briolana both spot them. Bri, because frankly she's got amazing night vision, and Malthus because if he was one of them, that's where he would hide if he was an amateur, because, you know, if he wasn't an amateur, he wouldn't be on the roof of the building he's protecting, he'd be across the way.
Stupid. Rank
Yeah,
amateur.
so you can spot at least four. You also notice that someone does sort of come to the door and checks on the guys and sees if they're okay, asks them if they want anything, and goes back inside. You get the feeling that there's probably more inside. There are at least four people outside, and you can't spot anyone else in the street other than a couple of kids playing, and their mum comes in and grabs them and rushes them inside, glancing at the temple.
Okay. Well, at this pace, I'd like to try to stealth
Sure.
before we do anything else.
Sure.
This doesn't look like a front door sort of
Balls.
situation.
14. Okay. Murmuring to the group, I ask, Scarlet, have you got anything that lives up to your name that you can wrap around your arm?
Let's see.
Were they humans or
kind of
halflings that we saw? E.
They were all halflings.
Yeah. Well, you're the only one that's going to be able to even remotely pass as one of these.
Gnomes can't really pass as halflings. They're very different in stature, although they are about
Remotely.
the same height.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At a distance, you know.
Okay.
I don't really have anything that I think could work.
Could you tell me again, so I can just write these down in notes? How many people are there, and where are their positions relatively? There's two on the
Two
roof,
out front of the door, and there's two on the roof.
and there's no one else nearby. Any cats? Any foxes? Any vermin running around?
More badgers.
Unfortunately, you do see a cat a little way down the street.
Do I see any
The cat
rats
goes,
nearby? Because usually
and runs off.
that is one sick cat. That cat needs to be taken
it's
care of.
Squishy. Squishy goes.
Oh, right. I was going to say, that is not the sound a cat
Oh
should
no,
make.
that's not a cat.
That cat is seriously sick.
Unfortunately, Squishy animals
Steer
bit
clear
dubious of the giant badger.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Can prestidigitation change the color of material?
I think it might be.
'Cause-
Violana, do you have it in front of you, or?
I will have in a moment.
Thank you.
Prestidigitation create instantaneous, harmless sensory effect, such as a shower of sparks, puff of wind, faint musical notes, or an odor. Instantaneously light or snuff a candle, torch, small campfire, clean or soil an object,
Soil
chill,
objects.
warm, or flavor. You can make a color, a small mark, or a symbol appear on an object or surface for 1 hour.
Okay. Then
Can make a red patch.
prestidigitation red patch onto Scarlet's arm.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm really not so sure that's going to work.
It's
also
not
gonna
going
make
to
a lot of noise.
hurt us either. I'm imagining that far enough away I can do prestidigitation clearly but softly enough that it's not going to draw attention. I mean, I could be wrong. You're welcome to have me
fine.
shot.
Yeah, you're in an alleyway like 40 meters down the road
Yeah.
in the dark. You're fine.
Do we suspect there are any other entrances to this building?
Not that you would know of. Generally, the temple would have one main entrance.
Yeah.
It could have a side entrance, possibly, but you would have to go looking for that.
My thinking is that it probably does. If it was a temple, it probably has a separate, smaller entrance for priests and VIPs.
Oh, that's a fair question.
Perhaps we should look for that. Stealth as best we can, rather than attempt to sneak in the front door.
Bree, how many times can you cast sleep before you need to rest for tonight?
About 4 more.
I can cast it
Sufficient.
once. That would be asking
Frankly,
for a
I
lot.
don't
I don't
think-
think.
That's
No.
going to be enough.
No. We might be able
Yeah.
to knock one out each, but in the time that it would take us to knock the other one out.
Out of note that if you knock people out and they can't see each other go down, no one's going to hear anyone like fall asleep
That's
unless
true.
they like fall off a roof or something.
That's a very good point. Still, it would require that we.
That also goes if you shoot them with an arrow.
It would require that we get much closer in order to cast at least another 10 meters. I'm willing to have a look around with your ideas. Look for a side, a servant's entrance, an exit for the acolytes.
Are you good at hiding?
Generally, but I have my moments.
I'm good at announcing my presence.
Right. Well, I can make myself invisible. I could make any of us invisible, but I'd rather not do all of us. That's rather a lot of magical expenditure.
Make everybody but me.
That's
Fine.
still quite a lot.
Yeah, plus we have
It would be
Squishy as
best to
well.
limit it to one person.
All right.
So, either I can do that and go and investigate myself, or perhaps Malthus here can discreetly circumnavigate the building.
All right. See, the problem is that Malphas is actually, like, this is out of character. Malphas is actually very good at stealth. He's got a +7 to it. But
you
I
keep
am
rolling
so
something.
bad at rolling dice. So it's like, it's frustrating because Malphas would have complete confidence in his ability to be stealthy. But I, as a player, have no confidence in my
experience with-
in my rolling the dice to be stealthy. It's like, damn you dice, why must you make my good character look bad all the time?
What you're saying
Well,
is
Well, you
that
have been rolling well today, so maybe you've broken it, or maybe
I know.
this is yet to come.
Maybe. We've got
Or
the
welcome
inspiration
Wolf
dice.
Slayer, who was good at pretty much everything, reasonably good at everything, but only rolled well in combat.
Now, how does the inspiration dice work? Can I roll a dice and then add the inspiration dice to that roll? Is that how it works? Or do I roll
yeah,
the inspiration?
basically.
Okay. I mean, I could use it to
yeah,
more or
I
less guarantee
believe
it.
it's chosen after you have rolled. You
Yeah.
can choose
Yeah,
these.
but before I've told you if you've succeeded on a
Yeah.
challenge or not.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure about that.
Um,
I'll look it up.
would you guys be all right with me using the inspiration dice to try and stealth and get closer and investigate? Because I can just roll stealth and then use the inspiration dice if it's a low roll, and then you can tell me if anyone sees
Unless
me.
your stealth situation changes, your current stealth will stand at 14.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Invisible
that
would change your
information.
stealth situation. You'd have to reroll.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm willing to go around and have a look.
I'm in favor of this.
What am I looking for? A way for everyone else to get in, or
Yeah, basically. Get past unnoticed.
all right? Oh, I can see
Trying to look,
Anna
trying to
shaking
look.
her head, and I'm like, I don't want to say anything else. It looks like she's ready to say something.
Well, no, it's like metagaming. It's like, oh, 14's not really good.
Yeah,
but my
no, I know.
character, what's she gonna say?
Well, that's the
I
thing.
don't know. You don't look particularly well hidden.
No, well, that's the thing. Is that that's
no,
the problem?
because you see him right in front of you. It's so it's
It's frustrating.
what it is.
Does anyone else here have stealth? Tulips, how good are you at moving unseen?
I have a +3 to stealth.
Scarlet,
So better than you, statistically speaking.
you could have a -1. You'd still be better than me, statistically speaking. But
Well, Malthus, if you want, you can add the D10, or you can choose to take Brianna's invisibility off, in which case you roll with advantage.
Well, I
Whoa,
should
whoa,
go
whoa.
for it.
she hasn't told me that she'll cast invisibility on me. She's thinking about casting it on
I
herself.
said I would cast it on me,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
and that if it's our last resort, I can cast
Yeah.
it on everyone. But I would rather it not be.
Scarlet, are you able to move unseen?
Yeah, I have a +5 to stealth, so I should be able to be.
It
fine
may
with that.
be advantageous for two
I
of us
actually
who
have
are
a +3.
relatively light on our feet to move as a group. If something should happen, then we're going to be able to quiet the situation much faster.
Sorry, Scarlet. What did you say yours was?
+5.
+5.
Okay, so you are the two that are light on your feet.
Yeah.
It's just clarifying
Yeah,
my
no,
it's okay.
Sorry.
As we can see, they're moving in pairs, and there's no reason to suspect that they won't be moving in pairs elsewhere. And if they should spot us, then if there are two of us, we may be able to silence any cry of alarm from two people. But if I'm on my own, there's going to be a reasonable chance.
And
Right.
where is the badger going to go?
I assume the
Badger's
badger
safe
can
with
stay
me.
here.
I think the badger would stay here.
Yeah, I think Squishy should stay behind this time.
I'll pet Squish.
Okay.
Is in
Tulip
your
puts
care,
his hand on the
Tulips.
badger.
Are you ready to go, then, Scarlet?
Yep.
What could possibly go wrong?
You may never hear from us again.
Roll stealth.
Don't screw it up.
15.
15.
Woo.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so me and Scarlet are going to move around quietly. I'll be using my city secrets to basically pick as best an alley as we can and just expedite the route that we're making so that we can scout a little bit faster than normal.
Okay, so it only takes you half an hour to get round without causing too much alert. There's a couple of awkward moments when one of the guard walks over to the edge of the temple roof and starts peeing off it, and you're kind of flat against the wall of the temple, like stream coming down in front of you. But you manage to get around just about safely enough, and you do find that there is a back entrance. However, the back entrance has been sealed up by bits of rubble and wood jammed in the gaps. It could
So-
possibly be moved. It's not mortared in, but you would need to use strength checks, in effect.
It's
So
been
you're
it's been
doing
sealed by rock.
inspiration differently than is in the book.
Oh, how is it in the
does it
book?
work?
So using inspiration. If you have inspiration, you can expend it when you make an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. Spending your inspiration gives you an advantage on that roll.
Oh.
Additionally, if you have inspiration, you can reward another player for good role-playing, clever thinking, or simply doing something exciting in the game. When another player character does something that really contributes to the story, blah, 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 you can give your inspiration to that character.
That
That's
is something
as a reward for it. Inspiration is a rule the dungeon master can use to reward you for playing your character.
Okay.
This is not. I don't think this is supposed to be the same as bardic inspiration.
Yeah, like I'm using a different form of inspiration. I have to check the DMG. It might be in the DMG.
This is the only mention of inspiration in Player's Handbook. So that's all I've got.
Before we leave this entrance, can I have a bit of a closer look at this? Obviously, not trying to linger, but you mentioned it's just basically an entrance that's been sealed by, what was it, rock and wood? Is that what you said?
Yeah, but
so it's
giant
not
lumps of masonry and stuff that have been.
So it's literally like it's been collapsed or a shoddy dry bricked in, effectively.
Yeah, a shoddy dry bricked in. Doesn't look like it's been collapsed, but it does look a shoddy dry bricked in.
Okay. Can I roll for investigation or perception to see if I notice how the guard numbers around as we're walking around? So we've got a rough head count. What am I rolling?
I'm going to take your previous perception roll and just run with that. You only managed to see the 4 people on the outside. You don't know how many people are on the inside, but you managed to see 4 people on the outside. At one point, there are a couple of windows that are a little bit high up that you might be able to otherwise see in, but unfortunately, you're a bit too low to the ground.
Okay.
Bardic inspiration works exactly like you were saying.
Okay.
After you roll, before you tell us whether it succeeded or not.
Okay, that's cool.
I prefer doing inspiration like that because it means you can have a variable amount, and the problem with advantage is you can only get advantage once.
Yeah.
Like you can't get advantage, whereas this can stack with advantage.
With regards to our walk, did I notice any particularly tall buildings that look like I'd be able to access them? Any derelict structures that would give me height?
There's a couple nearby. I mean, there's a little bit of what looks like was once a warehouse has been turned into some sort of multi-flat sort of squat nearby. A lot of the buildings do seem to be a bit run down, but you're not sure if they're derelict or if they're just
run down. Okay.
Kind of crappy buildings.
Scarlett, was there anything else you wanted to look for while we were out here before we return to the group?
I think we should just go back to the group. I'm not really seeing anything else that we can do here for now anyway.
Okay. Right. Then we'll make our way back and relay all of the information that we have just gained to the group, who I'm assuming haven't really moved from where they were before.
I like it.
Well, I mean, if Wolfslayer were here, I would say we could probably be able to pry that doorway open, but I'm not certain that I'm going to be able to. And as it's not a door...
quietly.
No.
I shouldn't think.
If it were a door, then perhaps I could do something with the hinges. If they were sufficiently worn, I could maybe melt part of the hinge off, allow the door to quietly fall with a shoulder or something. But it's masonry. It'll either take us a long time or it's going to be very loud. And I don't think either are really options for us right now. Do we have any means to get to fairly high windows? I asked, looking to Bree. Do you have any spells that might be able to help us with
that?
The
front door is closed?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any, ground height windows?
There are in
that,
fact, a couple.
In theory, somebody, if they weren't worried about being stealth, could climb through.
Yeah.
Right.
They look like they open.
They aren't in fact shuttered or anything. They're just boarded up on the inside.
Right, okay.
Okay, so they don't open because they're boarded up.
Yeah. With regards to the windows that you mentioned earlier, the tall ones, and then I was talking about if there were tall buildings nearby, were those ones actually windows or were they boarded up? Because sometimes people don't board up top windows because they don't think
they're
they
not
have
boarded
to.
up on the derelict squat in particular. There's nothing boarded up over there.
No, not the derelicts themselves, but I mean, talking about the temple had windows that were quite high up. You mentioned, are those boarded up as well? Would I remember that?
They are a little bit boarded up. Like there are gaps of light coming from between them. You could probably see in if you were the right height, but you wouldn't be able to access without pushing off a few boards here or there.
Okay, and there were no particular ways from tall buildings across, because I'm not sure how far apart these buildings are. When we were walking around, would it look like something with a good bit of speed you'd be able to make a jump?
Not really. It's across the street, and the street is a bit too wide, really. If you wanted to access the roof, you could probably go up a few buildings nearby and access the roof, though.
Oh, that's what I was asking. Yeah, I was wondering, because I wasn't assuming that they were connected, but if that's possible.
Yeah, the temple never really was a particularly big temple. Didn't really look ground around it, and you can make a small jump. It's only an alleyway. It's a few feet wide. You'd be able to make that jump. You're not having to roll or anything unless you get a 1.
Okay. Well, I would, as an idea, perhaps we could climb some of the buildings nearby, get onto the roof. I mean, they clearly got up there somehow. So there's probably a more accessible way down.
That'll be an athletics check, right? Yeah, because I can do that.
Climbing is not my strong suit.
Well, sorry, acrobatics.
Nor the badgers.
Again, I'm not sure that we realistically want to bring the badger in here at the moment, but if we made our way down through the front, we could open the front door and let him in if that was a requirement. But I don't think it's either a case of we go in, bows firing, swords swinging, spells going off like fireworks through the front door and have everyone aware of us, or perhaps one or two of us quietly try to get through the top and then let everyone else in. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. I'd be willing to try.
It's very risky.
I don't think anything about this situation is not going to be risky. This is a band of brigands. You can expect, if they catch us, we are not going to survive. They'll show about as much mercy as I showed the other one, and that's why I showed him that much mercy.
So the people just stealth in and open the door. That's going to be yourself and Scarlet?
Perhaps. I mean, Bree, I'm not sure. We haven't had long to get to know each other. I've never seen you in a fight. My experience with wizards, though, is that they can handle a situation or two.
There is
but
one
if you
other
can't
idea.
climb up... Oh, go ahead, Tulips.
We just set the whole place on fire.
That would possibly kill some people, but more than likely would send most people out. And whilst I am in the mood for exacting some revenge on the people who hurt you, I would rather not have fire spill to a derelict district and kill a bunch of innocent people.
Exactly. Malthus has spoken before me. Yes.
I'm resistant to fire, so it doesn't matter.
With the buildings
So am I,
close
but I know
together,
other people aren't.
that would spell disaster for the entire
I somehow suspect
neighborhood.
that
It
our
would
employees would not be too happy if we kill
be desirable.
everyone here. Nor would they be particularly amused if we destroyed the devices they hope that we will bring back. I'd rather avoid destructive, at least on that scale for now. I'm ready to try and climb my way in. By the way, EE, off the knowledge that Malphas would have, are we talking about like derelict structures that you'd literally be climbing up, scaling the walls of a structure, and then going across the roof, or go in, go up some rickety stairs, come out through a window,
go in and go
walk
up some
across?
rickety stairs, probably.
I'd probably express this to Bree that it might not necessarily be a case of physical endurance to get up to the roof. I strongly feel that this is
If we
going to
can
be the best
gain
option.
roof access from inside one of the buildings relatively discreetly, then that is definitely the best path. What to do with the badger,
Is
I
a
don't know.
difficult question.
But I think you're correct that that until combat commences, there's little the badger could do anyway.
Exactly. With regards to the badger, it's about the size of a dog, was that right? A large dog.
A
Like
large
a Great Dane.
dog.
Something on the scale of a Great Dane
It's like
or
if
a
human
German
got
Shepherd.
over on all fours.
I know quite a lot of small humans. But, okay, so in fact...
I'm like an American human or a European human?
Oh man, it's that different at
A
this
Nordic
point.
human or
We're talking a Viking-sized
I
human.
mean,
Yeah.
really, yeah. Like,
But yeah,
I have
so
a lot of Vikings in my chat.
a,
that are
a
going,
big a big
"I'm
a
bigger
big
than any
dog.
dog.
So we'll say like a large Great Dane or like a big German Shepherd. Like I'm terrible with Imperial, but like 300 pounds or something like that, somewhere around that sort of area.
Somewhere around.
Okay, right.
The
Well,
largest dogs are about 200, maybe 250.
yeah, but the thing with the Badger.
There we
We're
go, this is
talking
about right, maybe.
muscle-bound Mastiff type.
Oh right, okay.
dog.
Because I was thinking, well, Great Danes aren't actually that muscular, and a Badger is pretty much muscle and fat, so it's going to be heavy. I don't think we'd be able to throw him even with Featherfall, and I'm not sure he'd let us anyway. Well, maybe she'd allow it, but if we could get a good enough throw with Featherfall, he'd just glide onto the roof over a larger distance, because once he hits the top of the arc, he'd slowly descend. But honestly, I think that Squishy's to stay outside, unless we got some means of getting him across.
Somebody in my chat was mentioning that perhaps we could put the Badger to sleep.
I've no doubt that if Scarlet told Squishy to stay, he probably would.
Squishy would stay.
Then there's no real. I mean, if we don't really need to worry about Squishy too much.
As long as we're having him stay in a safe area, at least.
Right.
I'm sorry. I have some Danes in my chat who are saying I'm a Great Dane.
I'm a Great Dane.
Well
Nice.
played. Well played.
Yeah.
Very well played.
Oh goodness.
Right,
Yeah, not-
okay.
not-
People in my
not
chat are saying
that
don't
to
put Squishy to
I
sleep.
didn't mean death. I meant I meant sleepy time, like to go to sleepy.
The
time.
long sleep. The sleep
No,
you
the
don't
short
wake up
sleep.
from.
The short
No,
sleep.
just take Squishy out to the farm.
No.
Turn him
not
into
the
glue.
farm.
Glue Squishy.
Anyway, as you're all debating this, an extra person comes out the front door, joins the people on the steps, and takes a swig from a bottle.
So the drunk then. Attack. Sorry.
We could create a distraction using prestidigitation.
Yeah, we could.
We
Also
could
set-
try to draw them
That's a
away.
distraction.
I am strongly, whilst
If we
I
do that,
don't
then
believe
they're
I'm
going
going to
be
catch on
on
fire.
alert,
Yes,
and that
we
will
don't
make it
want
more
to put them on
difficult
alert.
for us to sneak in.
I think the best idea we have is to gain roof access and go down from there. I can
agree.
lead us back
Question.
to where we came from, yes?
Do you guys respect my ability to persuade good enough that I can walk up and tell them
No
that-
offense, darling. No.
no? That I am
I-
here to perform. Sorry.
I don't think the brigands are interested in watching you perform anything. Tulips on the pillow or not.
You don't know how good his performance was.
Yeah, so it could be amazing.
He didn't
I
roll,
agree with
damn it.
Malthus. Our best bet is through the roof access.
Through the roof.
Whatever we're going to do, we should do it now. It's growing
Not here,
late.
through the roof.
Or tomorrow. During the day. When bandits sleep.
Do bandits sleep in the daytime?
Usually.
Some of them.
For the same reason that we want to use the cover of night to sneak in. It's easier to sneak in at night.
Caravans
Fine.
don't tend to travel at night. They tend to travel through the day. Long, very long distance maybe, but merchants aren't going to be out for people to rob at night. It could go either way, you're right. It might go one way, it might go the other. They may... Either way, we should make a decision, and I'm in favour of going to the roof and trying to get in now. Also, from a meta point of view, I know that we've got or might be close to getting EXP bonus for this session.
Let's do it. Let's just go through the roof. I like it. You know what? Mission Impossible. Dum, dum,
On
dum.
a metal
Okay.
note, by the way, Malthus, you actually still have a bushel of flowers in your inventory. I hope you've noted that down.
What?
Actually,
have.
I should have more than... he only gave me one, didn't he? He gave 3 to that bloody maid and gave me 1.
What? No, it's a bushel. So
I'm-
it's
We're
like,
already married. Expectations are lower now.
A bushel is a lot.
A bushel is a lot of flowers. I mean, mind you, I ate all the roses. I didn't keep the stems once I'd eaten the petals and the buds. I didn't eat the daffodils. I kept those. I love daffodils.
What about the tulips?
I treasure them always.
Okay, so your plan is to sneak up to the roof. Okay.
I discard these flowers. Look, tulips. It was fun when it lasted, but Papa's a rolling stone.
I can agree
So,
with
about that
That's
roof
fine.
access.
Okay, on the move.
Okay.
As I'm about to leave,
Make stealth
my
checks.
tail
You have-
brushes along Tulip's tail.
So we're gonna win then. Awesome. Let's go.
All make stealth tests.
Can we not? Can I make?
Oh,
like
sorry. I cast invisibility on myself.
Make a stealth test at advantage.
Okay.
This is gonna be good.
I got 21. Oh, no, wait, no,
I get
wait.
21.
Loads of people rolled. No, I got 21 as well. 14 plus 7.
Oh.
And Scarlett's
I
21.
only got a 15.
I got a 15.
Well, that's really, really odd.
Okay,
I mean, that's
2
really odd.
15.
You know why that's really bizarre? Is because me and Scarlett rolled the same thing, but with completely different bonuses. I mean, the fact that Tulips and Bree rolled the same thing, they both have the same bonus. But that is particularly, there was some heavy math going on there.
So you
Fate
go
is
across the
improved.
street carefully. You manage to find a building with a stairwell. It's inhabited, but people are in their rooms and so on. It's mostly sort of a block of effectively flats going up 2 stories high. Basically, just everyone crammed into what effectively would have been a one family house. But you manage to sneak up the stairs without waking anyone up. Get to the roof access. You open a hatch up to the roof, and you're all right next to the roof to the temple. It will require a 3-foot jump, which you can all do. You won't probably need to make tests other than to just check if you won them.
Okay.
You can see your 2
can we
guards
see the
there.
guards? Are they poised over the roof? Or are they kind of stood back? Because, I mean, realistically, if they're just watching, they're not going to be stood at the edge. They're going to be stood a fair
No,
bit
they're not stood at the
disembarked.
edge. There's one closer to the front of the building, and there's another one hiding behind a chimney pot. Hiding behind a chimney pot from the road, not from you.
Okay.
All of them are perfectly exposed to you.
How far away are they?
One is about 20 feet to your forward right,
Okay.
forward left, sorry, who is at the front of the building, and the other one is about 25 feet maybe forwards and a bit to the right.
All right. Bree, we could try to cast sleep on one each, or I could try to kill one quietly with a bow. They're not going to see it coming. If I can hit them, I will possibly kill them.
Does casting a spell count towards dropping my... No, it shouldn't, because invisibility is a concentration. So as long as what I'm casting doesn't require concentration, I should be able to do that.
I don't know. I think invisibility says in its rules that if you make any attack or...
I
don't know about
just
spell.
flipped from that page, too.
Be right back. 1 second, guys. I have to replace the batteries in my headphone.
Invisibility. A creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything the target is wearing or carrying
The
is
spell
invisible
ends for a
as long
target that attacks or casts a spell.
or casts a spell. Yep.
Yes, you can't cast.
Scarlet, do you still have those arrows?
Yes, I do actually. I have a few of them left.
And you have a bow, we could take one target each. If you hand me one of those arrows, I can use that instead of one of my regular ones. What were the arrows again?
Sure.
I forget. I knew they were... Were they to hit arrows, or...?
Yeah, I
they-
don't have the proper name of it noted down.
So they just give you a bonus to hit, is that right?
Are these the ones you got from the...
Yeah.
There'll be +1 to hit, +1 damage.
Okay. We'll wait for Master of You Tulips to return.
So, the guards, they wander around a little bit, exchange some lewd jokes, debate the price of fish.
Whilst Tulips is staring stoically out across
he's
the
back.
city.
Hopefully.
Rolls a 1 on headset wearing.
Yes.
Return.
Okay, what's the plan, guys?
Tulips, unless you have something better to suggest, I believe Scarlet and I can try to kill one of the guards each.
Sorry, 1 second. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
You get your beer delivered to you. How wonderful.
All right, sorry, what's going on then?
Unless you have something better to suggest, I believe our best chance is for Scarlet and I to take one guard each via a bow. We should be able to drop them silently. But if one of them is
Surprise
able
attack,
to... It's an advantage. If they're not aware of it's coming, it's going to be an advantage. And advantage for me means it's automatically a sneak attack.
Very good. Okay.
But if we fail to kill one, it's going to be very bad. Bree, do you happen to have anything? In this sort of distance,
I
you
can
may be able
ready-
to...
I can ready a sleep spell. It'll drop my invisibility, but if one of them
A
doesn't go
backup.
down with that first hit, it's a backup. It's not
Tulips, do
ideal,
you
but
happen to have any
nothing about
backup?
This is.
Any backup?
Do you have anything that you would be able to throw?
I have a bow.
Be ready. Should Scarlet... are you good with it?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
All right.
I have I have +5 to my.
The same as me, then. Scarlet, if you hand one of those arrows to each of us,
Yep, okay.
if Bree and Tulips stand ready to react, should one of these guards not go down, or it seem in any way that they're about to raise the alarm, then you can react to try and silence them. If only one remains, then Tulips, you take a shot. Otherwise, if both of them somehow manage to survive,
Yeah,
or
I
we
was
miss.
just going to mention that we could all just like strike at the same time, and then
as we're planning combat right now, would we be able to say they have a held action? A conditional
You
attack.
can say, I'm going to attack this guy, and then other people can go, my held action is going to be, as soon as you finish your attack, I'm going to attack, provided the person isn't dead.
Yeah.
You can say that.
yeah, then that's
Okay.
what I'll do.
All right.
And that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm readying to
Yeah.
cast sleep if
Okay.
one of them doesn't die.
You would have
With-
to pick
with the
one of the
hits.
two. You couldn't focus on both of them. You'd have to focus on one.
Okay. I'm going to be going for the one by the chimney.
We tieflings will stick together. I'll
Yeah,
just make
I'll-
sure I'm.
I'll focus on Scarlet's because
Okay.
Malphas has the advantage with sneak attack and whatnot.
Right up.
Okay, so Malthus is going to take a bow shot. And Scarlet, are you sneaking up with your swords or...
No, but
Using my bow. Both bow.
Okay, using your bow.
Okay, so shall I open?
Sure.
So it's an attack with advantage. At my normal attack with the bow is 5, so I'm going to have a 6 because I'm using a +1/+1 arrow. Is that right? Okay.
If you've nicked one off Scarlet, yep.
So that's going to be, and it is an advantage because it is in a way.
Yeah.
Please, not a 1. I got a 22.
Nice.
As a hit.
Okay. And now the damage.
Target is unaware, but no. Yeah, it's still just normal damage.
except
Yeah.
sneak attack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sneak attack.
So it's
It's not a crap,
um,
yeah.
1d6 plus +1. Oh, well, actually. So roll. I'll just do the regular damage first. So it's 1d6 plus
Plus Dex.
Dex, which would be 3. Actually,
Plus
it's
sneaky.
yeah, it's 1d6 and then space 2d6. Is that right?
No spaces. Just 1d6 plus 2d6. But you just write 3d6 if you want. Plus 3.
Oh yeah, of course, 3d6. 6 plus 4 because it's a +1 arrow. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, right. 3d6 plus 4. Go!
Do it.
15.
The arrow takes him squarely in the back. He just goes and just slumps to the side.
Okay.
Bam.
One down.
My go. Short bow.
Tulips, are you going to change who you're focusing on before Scarlet shoots, or?
Well, yeah, I'll do that for sure. I'll give Melfest the thumbs up, and then I'll change target. Wait,
That's
what?
23.
It would be 10
23 to
damage
hit.
because +1 as well.
Right.
And 10 damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hit him in the back with the arrow. He turns around and goes, and just slumps to the ground as well.
All right.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Okay. Well, the moment that I see the second person drop, I'm immediately in motion. I get up and I start trying to get across to the roof as fast as I can to get to the bodies. I'm going...
Okay.
Can I see a hatch?
You need to make an athletics or an acrobatics check to be able to jump the gap first.
Okay, I'll do acrobatics then. So that's d20 plus 5.
Somebody's asking what
11.
happened to the real
You
milk.
make it across.
If I do it very, very carefully, can I do the athletics or the acrobatics with advantage? It's just a 3-foot gap. I'm worried about that one. There's a 5% chance that I'm going to fail this. This isn't realistic. It's only 3 feet. I can jump 3 feet.
It's like a rooftop. Maybe it's slightly in the rain.
Maybe you got vertigo.
Hey, you said nothing about rain.
Don't tempt
Oh
him.
my.
Oh, that one. I saw the one as well. I was like, no.
Like, oh.
Because we're actually fairly high up. That would do a lot of damage on the way
Brianna
down.
has died in her first session.
Reroll.
Wolfslayer comes back.
Yeah.
Sorry, so Melton and
Sorry.
Brianna are across.
False
Scarlet,
alarm.
would you like to roll acrobatics or athletics?
Okay, what was that?
Athletics or
Athletics
acrobatics?
or acrobatics, your choice.
I'll go for acrobatics.
And my goal heading over there is checking the bodies for boomsticks.
You get across.
14.
Brian?
Okay, Brian.
Yes.
Acrobatics or athletics?
I do I have to? Okay, athletics. Definitely doing athletics.
I thought you
In
had
fact-
acrobatics.
Well, sorry, I meant acrobatics. It starts with an A, and I.
Big difference. One you're good at,
Yeah,
one
It
you're not.
sounds so similar.
You were just auto-completing that off of the A.
I'm doing a forward somersault over this 3-foot gap.
Don't say things like that because E will make you do it at disadvantage.
It's pretty good though. Come on then. Oh yeah, I have to get that. There it is. That's the one. That's the one. Uh-oh.
Okay.
You get across. You don't complete your forward somersault. But
Oh. Does he land on his feet and then just takes a step to balance him? Oh, that's terrible. 7
None
out
of
of
us
10.
were looking.
he staggers a little bit, bumps into Scarlet.
The gods were looking.
Oh well.
Briella, you
I'll
managed to
think about
go check one of the bodies. Malthus said he was going to check one, so you both check one each. Checking the bodies, you both find one unfired disposable boomstick. These ones do not reload. There is no way to seemingly make them reload.
Small or big?
Small.
Just want to know
You
how
also
much I'm
find
carrying.
crossbow, 6 crossbow bolts,
Okay.
and their armor, which is padded. If any of those interest you.
I unstring the crossbow and leave it. Well,
Okay.
leave the crossbow, not the string.
I take the crossbow and the bolts.
I'll give
Okay.
you the string if you want this one as well, but I have no interest.
Oh, it looks like Anna's camera has done its thing again. No, yes,
not
kind
for me.
of.
Everything seems fine from here.
That's weird.
Everything's
It's
fine
literally. Oh no, there we are. It was just pausing on mine. That was very odd. It was just like
Strange.
freezing in a position. Okay.
You rolled a 1.
No, I have even improved my camera setup. Now they're plugged. Now all of my cameras are plugged into a powered USB hub, so there should be no conflicts.
Okay.
Excellent. Right. So You spot a hatch going downwards.